Welcome back to the Your Profitable Law Firm podcast. And I am excited today. We've got a guest with us. So, Jared Correia, and he's the founder of Red Cape Legal Consulting, and he's the host. I am so excited for this, your new podcast, and it's called Legal Late Night. I think I'm on episode 2. I think there's 3 out. And I already have to say I'm in love. Like the minute that I open it and it says, it gives me like the explicit warning. And I'm like,
Yes, we found that the explicit show did better than the standard show.
really?
Plus,
That's
I can't
awesome.
control myself, so there's also that.
Trust me,
Yes,
I have moments where I pause because I'm like, oh, should I say that?
Yes, I see. I just go ahead and say it, but I won't do. I won't do that on your show.
Oh, it's okay if you do.
Welcome to Your Profitable Law Firm podcast. I'm Kelley Brubaker, your dedicated host, passionate about empowering law firm owners. Let's dive into the hidden strategies that lead to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. This is where overwhelm transforms into confidence, enabling you to create and enjoy your dream firm and your dream life.
If you can share a little bit more about yourself, and then I'm so excited we're going to talk about technology audits today.
Yeah, so I was a former practicing lawyer right out of law school, and then I decided very quickly that I was not about that life because law firms were really poorly managed. You may have heard. And actually, when I was in law school, I did a couple internships, and I was like, these places are like sinking ships. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
And so I went to the career development office, and I was like, hey, it would be cool. I could do like business consulting for lawyers, and they were like, get a real job. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did that. I worked for law firms for about 5 years. And then I worked for a bar association because I was like, this is stupid. And then just randomly, like the state of Massachusetts, like they started a free business management consulting service for attorneys.
That's
and
cool.
I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want to do. So I applied for a job there. I got it and worked there for about 8 years. And then I've had my own consulting company for the last 10. That's where I started to do the work and started to get some reps and worked with a bunch of people. But then what happened was there are people outside of Massachusetts who wanted to work with me. So I opened my own business.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I know I'm an affiliate member of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association. And I know they have, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a business consulting group, but they do have there's the small, the solo and small firm, and we have different topics that are trying to support that group. And
so, all the bar associations are trying to do it for sure. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. But so we had met because we were both speakers at an AffiniPay hosted event. And sometimes
kind of hosted events. That's right, I'll say it.
And by far, hands down. I mean, AffiniPay is like an amazing host. I feel like I'm a celebrity. It's amazing. And
feel like, aren't you? I mean, come on.
Not
really.
No. And so, but I tell my friends about this, and they're like, "So you had to fly to Austin, Texas, to speak at a virtual seminar?"
I know.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but." It was produced. And so no camera glitches, no mics that cut off. I mean, you got to watch for hot mics though, but it's just, they're a top notch group and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful experience. It absolutely is. And so I've had no other speaking experiences can even compare. It's a really good environment. But we were on a fire chat together, or I think they call them fire chats or fireside chats. But
which I was not aware of was a thing.
Yeah.
Until I never heard the term fire chat before, but I still don't know what it is. But I enjoyed myself. We had fun.
We had a lot of fun, and so. From that, and I want to say there were maybe 8 speakers, and I've already had Nikki Black who was our moderator, I think, for our session.
So she's been on
the podcast. Wrangler? Exactly, the handler. Oh yeah, the Wrangler. I like that. Yes, because that's how she started off our session, right?
Yeah.
but so Nikki's been on this podcast, and then Kim, who she was talking about subscription-based
Kim
services.
Bennett.
She was
Yeah.
on a couple weeks ago. Absolutely. And I've got, so Josh is going to come, and I met with him, and we
Josh
probably
Knopfler?
finished, like, I'm so
All right.
excited. So
Do you want me to
he and
talk
I
you out of
met-
that? No, I'm just kidding. Josh is great.
Well, Josh and we met maybe like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, and he and we probably talked for 2 hours. We just kept
Oh, yeah.
talking,
He's
and
easy to talk to.
I'm like, I should have recorded this. This was the podcast. But we just met to brainstorm about what we were going to do with the podcast. And so,
Oh, cool.
great, but everybody that I met at that Affinity Pay event, just amazing speakers. And then both you and I have been invited back to an in-person event that Affinity Pay is going to have,
Yes.
Kaleidoscope,
With
in
real people.
September with real people. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so fun times, like 2025 is going to be a good year. So I love it. But so let's talk about technology audits though. So talk about like
Okay.
what it is, why somebody needs it, what are the benefits of doing this? Cause I love this. This is great.
Why would you need a technology audit? I don't know. Like I'm several reasons, right? One is you just haven't done one for a while. Like
Yeah.
your technology might be good. But it makes good sense to review it on a regular basis. I know you do this in terms of like the cost component.
Right.
I'm also looking
Right.
at logistics, efficiency, how these softwares work together, whether or not there are feature updates that you should be interested in. But I will tell you practically, most people aren't coming to me and saying, oh, my technology is really good and I want to make it even better. Some
Right.
kind of disaster has befallen them. They're like,
I know.
my server has exploded. I
Yeah.
hate my case management software.
Yeah.
There's too many workarounds. I don't know what to do. Or the always enjoyable, the person who had the login for the admin account quit, and now I can't access my systems. So
Oh my
lots
God,
of
I
stuff
just
like
had
that.
this.
Yeah,
I
like
just had somebody come to me with that. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah, I'm like, they're like, can you
Crazy.
fix this? I'm like, well, we got a long road ahead of us.
I know.
So usually it's something bad is happening to be fixed.
Yeah.
But if that can generate like a holistic overview of how a law firm runs their technology platform, that's a great thing for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have law firms. I work with law firms in a couple different ways. So I'll do like a formal technology audit for a law firm, where it's a one-time project-based thing where I have a little spreadsheet. I make them complete with answers to questions about the tools they use and who has access to them and the data security, that kind of thing. I'll review that. We'll do a long conversation, and then I'll put together like a plan for them. And then it's like we're done at that point, unless you want to reach out and do hourly stuff. A lot of attorneys I work with, like, will do kind of like a rolling tech audit, just in terms of the interactions we have.
Right.
So that could be like, hey, we'll have a few meetings to figure this out, or like it's something that comes up on a recurring basis for the subscription clients I have. So I'm always looking at this stuff. So I guess some of the things I'm looking for are modernity of systems. Like I still know a lot of law firms that use desktop technology.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get out of it.
Scares the crap out of me. And I
so
get
I'm
the
like,
fear from the cloud, but okay, the cloud servers have been around for at least 20 years. And so like the security is not any different than your server that you have in your closet.
I mean, it's better if we're being honest, because it's maintained by a corporation that is not hosting. Your server is not in the closet at AWS. I can tell you that. Yeah, like it's funny. Like I had somebody, my favorite cloud-based conversation was somebody who reached out to me one time, and they were like, "What is the cloud? Can you explain that to me? I have no idea what it is." And I was like, "Sir,
oh no,
you're emailing me from a Gmail account. Gmail is, I got news for you. Gmail is a cloud-based email system." So we're in the cloud right now, literally as we speak.
You're already there.
Yes. So that's stuff. So it's like an education thing for a lot of
it
attorneys.
is.
So that's what I'm looking for. Like, how modern is the software that you're using?
Yeah.
Then I'm looking for certain categories of software. Like I have a big four. I like attorneys to have productivity software, case management software, accounting software, and CRM. I think every law firm should have those four.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and then you just add on, like there's always other stuff that then can enhance your ability to serve your clients. So I love all
Right.
that. That's great. Yeah.
So that could be document management,
Yeah.
document assembly, payment
Yeah.
systems, signing tools.
Oh yeah.
AI
DocuSign. Oh my gosh.
technologies.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
that's built into some of the major providers.
Right.
I see people using a lot of redundant technology because they don't know that part of it. So how many, I mean, you've seen this, I'm sure, like somebody's got like, DocuSign or whatever. I forget which one was bought by Dropbox. So I'll just say Dropbox.
I forget too, but yeah.
Somebody's got Dropbox sign and
Right.
they've got a case management system. And I'm like, oh, you got like, unlimited free signatures on this plan. But people
Yeah.
don't look at this from a holistic way. So then once we figure out like, okay, what are the main systems you have? What could we add here that really complements what you're doing? And then how is that
Right.
all going to integrate? Then we start talking about, okay, are there direct integrations? Do we need to use a third-party system like Zapier to bridge everything?
Oh yeah.
And how
Yeah.
do we construct something that is going to suit your needs and make your firm as efficient as possible? Because that's what I'm always driving
Right.
after is efficiency.
No, absolutely. And no, I agree. I mean, and even though I come at this, I'll come at from the expense side and because I'll look and say, I'll have a firm come to me and say, I am just struggling with cash flow. I never have enough money in the bank. I'm always scrambling to make payroll or to make my credit card payment or my loan payment or whatever it is. And the very first thing I do, we need to do an expense audit. And so I'm looking through and I'm going to pull, instead of looking at your P&L that says subscriptions, $10,000, I'm going to dig through and look at my vendor and say, okay, what are the vendors you're paying? And then I do something similar where I look and see, well, do you have multiple things that do the same thing? And if you do, why? Because sometimes, and I'm starting to see this in some of my, as an accountant, I have a couple of software programs I use for my, accounting stuff, and they're starting to now overlap because the small programs are like, ooh, we want to compete with the big dogs. And so they had
Right.
this really good thing, the narrow niche that they serve, but now they're adding on because they're trying to be an all-in-one solution. And I'm
Nobody's
like,
ever satisfied, right?
and that's the thing. It's like, well, when you have the all-in-one, they don't do everything amazingly well. They only do one thing amazingly well and everything else kind of mediocre. So sometimes there is a time where you need to you justify having two things that do somewhat have some overlap because they do their amazing things separately. And you need to keep them. But it's that part of question. Why do you have two of the same thing? If these two things are clearly the exact same thing, why are you paying for both? And sometimes it's, oh, so-and-so signed up for it and I completely forgot. Or, it's so-and-so had that and left and we just never turned it off. So, but I come at it from the cost side, but I like how you come at it, are you using the best tools for what you're trying to accomplish? And, what are the complementary? Because Zapier, I love to hate them sometimes because I'll go in and I go to set something up and I'm like, the one trigger I need isn't there.
I know it's a tough thing to be a bridging
Right.
software like that. You're never
It
going to
is.
please everybody.
I know. So yeah, because like I just changed CRMs. And so there was good and bad that came with that. And I just, and I'm like, I'm just going to deal with it because this is better than what I had. So let's just move forward with it. But it's hard. I mean, technology is hard. There's just so many options available and they're just constantly evolving. And then I've seen a lot of software firms where they start to develop and all of a sudden they start breaking the things that made them famous in the first place. And so now you're like struggling, and I get frustrated, obviously one of my, go-to tools is QuickBooks. And I get so frustrated with QuickBooks. It's the subscription model when I used to pay once and I keep the software for 3 years and I could have 50 clients on one QuickBooks, desktop app. Now it's, every client's got to pay for their own every month. And it's just a ton of money. And they say they're coming out with enhancements and sometimes it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. And they add 2 new things, but they take away something else because it broke. And it just gets frustrating. But no, I do like this plan of technology audit. So for sure.
Well, it's interesting. You spend so much time in QuickBooks, you almost have to hate it,
I
And I
do
feel
hate it.
like
I hate it.
I
hate
feel
it.
like I feel like a lot of the attorneys I talk to spend a lot of time in an email program or in a case
Yeah.
management software. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of hard not to see just the flaws. It's kind of like
Right.
when I take my kids somewhere and somebody's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they're so delightful." I'm like, "Stop that! They're not delightful. They're obnoxious." Like,
Wait
can't
until
you
they get
see
home.
that?
I know.
Uh,
But trust
okay,
me,
so
I know.
can I ask you a question? I know it's your podcast.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go for it.
So this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and it sounds like maybe it
Okay.
is of yours. Like when I look at
Okay.
people's, from a cost perspective, when I
Yeah.
look at people's profit and loss statements, budgets that they built,
Yeah.
it's always like technology, $80,000,
Yeah.
computer, like $50,000. Like, why can't we get granular line items for technology?
Oh, I know. Yeah. So I try to work with clients on, well, first off, I usually tell clients, let's break up with your P&L just because like
I
too
like
many
that.
people just rely on that one document. And there's so much assumptions you have to put into that to be able to rely on it. And it just doesn't tell you everything. And the big thing is because I'll have somebody that says, my P&L says I have a net profit of $100,000, but my bank account says $10,000. Where did $90,000 go? And I'm
Oh,
like,
nice.
well, how much did you take out in distributions? 50,000. Well, there's 50,000 of it.
Right.
How
Now let's
much
keep
debt have
going.
you paid down? Yeah. Like how much debt have you paid down? Oh, yeah. There was some money there too. So, so it's just frustrating. But there's also other assumptions. You have to assume that your bookkeeper, whether that's you or you have somebody doing it, has correctly put everything in. All your transactions are in. They're
Right.
consistently in the right categories. And if you have, and I don't mean to knock anybody because I do know there's some amazing bookkeepers that I've worked with over the years, and
But
they're right
there's some
on
bad
it.
ones, present
But
company
there's a
excluded.
lot of bad ones.
All
Oh,
right.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of bad ones. And
I'll
so,
say it. You don't
I
have to say it.
can, and a lot of times I'll see, like, I'll start digging into details, but exactly what you said, I'll click into, I'm in QuickBooks and you double click and it blows it up into the detail. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Why in software, all of a sudden now we've got a cell phone that was purchased. I'm like, that's not
Right.
software. That's a phone. Like,
Right.
why is that in there?
Right.
And
Yep.
so just because you see the line and you see a dollar amount, it doesn't mean everything in there is consistent. So that's like another thing that I want to look at is making sure that consistently, vendors are being put in the right things. But I do want to work on, how do you use your P&L or how do you use your financial statements as a whole? Can we make these more detailed? Because you don't have anywhere else to get that information in detail, but you need to
Right.
know it. So, and things like this, like probably payroll is one of the bigger things that I see. And I'll just see like payroll expenses, $100,000. And I'm like, well, but how much of that was wages? How much was payroll taxes? Are you including some employee benefits in there? It'd be nice to know the
Yep.
breakdown of that number. And you can do it right on your financial statements, but you just have to set up your chart of accounts to be able to see that. And so I try to work with firm owners and say, because everybody has a different preference. Some are,
Right.
My payroll costs are my end all be all. I need to know as much detail about that. I'm like, okay, let's blow that out on your P&L. Let's put the subcategories in there. So now you can see the total and you can see the details. And then others, it's the software. I need to know, am I, who am I paying? And I'm like, okay, I try not to put vendors as a GL account, but sometimes it's justified when you're paying a
Yes.
ton of money to a handful of vendors. Then let's break it down on your P&L and then you have it. And of course, you don't want this P&L that you print that's 10 pages. That's not going to help you either. So it just comes down to how often you reference that information, how critical it is to you. And we can work on getting your P&L, or your balance sheet, fixed to be able to see that
Yeah.
better.
Or you could just not print it out because it's 2025. That's another option entirely.
My printer broke and I'm like,
I've not I haven't printed anything in I want to say like 12, 13 years. No,
I
God.
hardly, I
I
hardly
know,
print
like,
anything.
but there are a lot of
No.
attorneys I talk to who are like, I know this is terrible, but I just like to have the paper. I get that a lot.
So,
Even from some
so
younger
I'll
attorneys,
look,
you would think.
right. I'll look at, one of the things I'll look at is who has a subscription for people coming into Shred. So, because I'm like, do you really have to pay somebody to
Oh,
come
man.
shred? You have that much
You're calling
paper
people
that
out
you
like
have to
that? That's
shred?
savage. Wow. I love it.
So, I mean, I've got 3 computer monitors here. So I've got my
Yes.
main big monitor, and then I've got 2 side monitors. And God, I could probably do a 4th monitor and tell you the truth, but I don't think I have enough connections
I mean, but
to
hardware
be
is
able
so
to
cheap
add.
now. Like
I know.
the stuff that cost it's odd because it used to be that like the reverse was true, but it's so
Yeah.
cheap to buy hardware now. It's more
Oh my gosh. I
expensive.
remember. So I opened my first office in 2008. And at that point, I had already been working on my own for a couple years, but it started growing. I was able to hire staff, open an office. And I remember my IT guy saying, do you want 1 monitor or 2? And I'm like,
Let's splurge.
oh, 'cause it didn't even like occur. I was just excited I was getting a flat screen monitor. Like
Yes.
that to me, like not the old, TV thing, whatever I can't even think of what those were called. Was it CRT? I can't remember whatever the
Oh
old
yeah.
big
Yeah.
thing that took up your half your desk. So I was just excited. I was on the forefront of getting a flat screen monitor. And I'm like, there's the ability for 2. And because at that point, I had only ever seen one person who had 2 monitors, and it was a broker dealer. It was when I worked in
Oh
audit
yeah.
at KPMG,
Yeah.
and he had 1 monitor that was just investments all day long. And so I'm like, oh my God, doesn't that give you a headache? Because it was just the Bloomberg ticker, like all
Yeah.
day
Now
long.
you're like,
Yeah,
I have
it's
7
kind of
monitors
crazy.
surrounding me at all
Right.
times.
And so now I'm like, yeah, I feel like a queen.
It's like the bridge of the Star Trek Enterprise over here. I got all my stuff lined up.
Exactly. Don't touch the button. Oh, so, but so I just want to be able to wrap up. I don't want to get, I try not to let my podcast go too long. But
Yeah.
we've had amazing conversation, and I really
I've
love
enjoyed
this.
myself.
So thank you. So if people want to get a hold of you and talk about technology audits or any of the other services, because I know you fully support law firms and their business operations and management decisions, stuff like that. So
Oh sure.
if
Yeah.
somebody wants
Try
to get a
to.
hold of you, we'll definitely put the link in the show notes. But what would be the best way to contact you?
Oh yeah, you can just go to the website, which is
Okay.
redcavelegal.com, and then
Okay.
all the information's on there, phone, email. Just
Awesome.
reach out. We can talk about monitors or whatever else you think. In fact,
And you don't even need my permission. Just go do it.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
go
go
and
for
buy
it.
all the
Go
things.
for
So, I'm all about it's about the productivity, right? I mean,
it. Multiple
because
monitors, multiple pancake makers. Like there are good uses of redundancy.
totally. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you say, yeah, so pancake. So I think one kid has a Yoda shaped pancake pan. And my other
Yes,
one, I can't think what the other one is, but I know we have 2 of them.
I keep
Sometimes 2
wanting.
is good.
One of these days, I'm going to buy one of those AI printing pancake things, griddles. It's on my list. It's a little
Right?
ostentatious, but I want one.
Right. Oh, it's okay.
Exactly. It's on my P&L. We're good.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. You didn't see that. Well, thank you, Jared, very much for being on the podcast, and hopefully you have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thanks. My pleasure.
Running a successful law firm takes more than legal expertise. It requires financial mastery, strategic planning, and data-driven decision-making. At my accounting firm, Profit Scale Thrive, we specialize in helping law firms achieve lasting profitability by providing tailored financial guidance, optimizing cash flow, and equipping you with the insights needed to scale with confidence. Ready to take your firm's finances to the next level? Join our private community for law firm owners called Your Profitable Law Firm Community. Each month, we dive deep into essential topics about the business side of running a law firm. This is your opportunity to connect with other firm owners, share challenges, and discover proven solutions in a supportive environment. Visit ProfitScaleThrive.com today to join our community and access resources specifically designed for law firm owners just like you. Have a question about today's episode? Drop a comment below. Know of another firm owner struggling with their finances? Share this episode. It might be exactly what they need. Click that subscribe button to get notified when we release new episodes with more practical financial insights for your firm.
If you found value in today's discussion, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback helps other law firm owners find this content. And remember, profit is something you intentionally plan for in the beginning. It's not a potential bonus at the end of the year. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you inside the Your Profitable Law Firm community.